Hey guys, welcome to CryptoCoach365, day 132. Mike Tozoni here. So last time I was at the extremely long-named Bitcoin blockchain conference over in New Hampshire. Got back home without any issues, and since then it's been pretty much back to work here at home on real estate. And actually we had a bit of a maybe good news and maybe light at the end of the tunnel. We are allowed to proceed, allowed freaking governments, to proceed with the non-conforming use application, basically. Like, we're not allowed to actually use our land for non-conforming use yet, but we're allowed to, like, the zoning person claims that we have enough to submit the check and the forms and whatever information else, other information we have. I mean, it's really annoying that we bought the land, we owned the land. The land had 2 mobile homes on it, and we did not change anything other than replace old mobile homes with new ones, thus improving the property by a hell of a lot and improving whoever, the lives of whoever's living there. But we need to ask the government for permission to do stuff on our own property. So, right. But still, we live within the system. We have to fight it somehow, but, you know, pick your fights. When this gets approved, hopefully it gets approved, I really hope this gets approved, then we'll be able to finally put those mobile homes in place and start making back all the money that we've been losing so far, paying an interest, unfortunately. But after, or, well, this thing is profitable. Like right now, I believe our costs to run this property are about $220, like $2,800 a month, I guess, in interest payments, and we are expected to make about 3,900 or so. Yeah, about that. So basically an extra grand a month. So have been renting one of the units there, one of the houses. So that's been kind of offsetting some of the costs. But yeah, looking forward to having this thing start making us some money. Looking forward to having our other Baltimore properties start making us money. And of our 3 properties that are in a flip stage, one of them should be ready this week. One of them was actually finished last week and was put up on the market yesterday and got an offer yesterday. So that was pretty quick. We still have to figure out what it is they're asking for with regards to they need seller assistance. They want us to cover some of the closing costs, but what they're asking is a little strange. They're saying 3%, and that's all we heard. So I don't know if it's they want 3% cut off the price. They want 3% assistance in the costs. I think I know what it means, but we have to figure that out. Anyway, so yeah, things are going forward, albeit slowly but surely. And yeah, we've made quite a lot of mistakes through our start. Kind of ended up grinding to a halt because of them for a little while too. But yeah, we make mistakes, we learn, we move on. The point is that, like, at this point, a lot of people may have quit, cut their losses and said, okay, this isn't for me. But you know, business is persistence. Don't quit, keep moving. If you make a mistake, learn from it, fix it, and then go forward. And actually, yeah, as a VC, it's kind of also a little unspoken rule that as a venture capitalist investing in small businesses, it's actually much safer to invest in somebody who has made mistakes before, because then you know that they've dealt with them and they know how to, well, they have experience and they've learned from them, as opposed to investing into somebody who has never made a mistake, because somebody who's never made a mistake might seem like, oh, this is a good investment, but it's actually somebody who's yet to make a mistake, and chances are they'll make it with your money. Anyway, yeah, today we are, it's a short day for me because I am in the middle of packing. I will be leaving for about 2 weeks. We're going to Venice for a week, and then from there, this Saturday, we're going on a cruise around the Mediterranean, around parts of Greece. I've been to Venice twice, I've maybe 3 times. I've never been to Greece before, so it's kind of a working vacation. I'll have my laptop and other stuff with me. Hopefully the Wi-Fi will be a little bit better and internet than it was in Alaska, because Alaska's wilderness. There's like nobody around. Most of the time we were at least 60 miles away from the nearest civilization or mark of civilization, be it a cell phone tower or even the road. This time we'll be right in the middle of the Caribbean, right by Egypt, so hopefully there'll be plenty of civilization and data for me to work on. Even though it's a vacation, there's always things that need to be done, and I'm in a process of running a couple of companies. So with crypto, there's this guy, Nouriel something. I mean, like, even if I remembered his name exactly, I probably wouldn't want to give him publicity. But there's another economist, they call him Dr. Doom, who is out there talking about cryptocurrencies. And I swear, the old adage of those who can't teach, I see it so many times, and it even applies to apparently economists. So this guy, kind of a nobody, but he made his mark because he was one of the people who predicted the crash of the housing bubble. That's why they call him the Dr. Doom. But like, he wasn't the only one, and I mean, houses go up. If you say it's going to go down eventually, you're going to win eventually. So but he's a professor apparently at some university, and he's been cutting down on Bitcoin quite a lot in his Twitter. So the reason was because so the SEC, I believe, is still investigating whether to allow Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin traded funds, and they needed somebody on the pro side and somebody on the opposing side to tell them what's wrong with crypto or if there are any issues. And this Rubini or whatever, he was on the negative side. And there were some issues, like he's complaining about Bitcoin being still very centralized because only a few people have it, and only a few people have the majority of it, which that's kind of how all companies start. Take Facebook, for example. When Facebook started, all ownership of Facebook was owned by a handful of people. Same for Twitter, same for Amazon, same for every company out there. Same for money too. Like when first money is created, it's only among a couple of people who actually create it before it gets distributed to the rest of the economy. So yeah, in Bitcoin sense, sure, the money is concentrated, but that's because it's still, held among a small number of people, and it has not been really adopted among the rest of the economy so far. He kind of makes some valid points in that he points out that a lot of altcoins have crashed, alternative competitors to to Bitcoin, but that's kind of like yet as expected, because he explained this as this is an issue with cryptocurrencies in general. Really, it's an issue with a dominant player in a very competitive market, especially in a market where network effects are extremely strong, where first mover advantage is extremely powerful, and in a network where money is involved and people need to do accounting and acceptance of currency. So usually when it comes to money, accountants prefer one currency over many, and likewise businesses prefer to deal with one over many. So, I mean, it's not surprising that a lot of the other coins have been crashing. I've been saying, like, I've believed that Bitcoin will be the dominant currency in the future. I believe that there will still be a lot of other currencies trying, but Bitcoin will continue to be the dominant currency in the future. I've covered some of the things why. It was the network effects, first mover advantage, open source platform, lock-in effect. And so it's not really surprising that other coins will not succeed. but he was kind of presenting it as this is an example of cryptocurrencies, including like all cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, being basically a waste. And the funniest thing is, like, this Dr. Doom is now what's it called? He's expecting or proclaiming that crypto is crashing. There's like coins have crashed 90%. Not really. And that like it's the end of crypto and it's gonna go under. And the funny thing is that he kind of predicted the same thing back in 2014. Obviously, he was proven very wrong back then. I think Bitcoin was going, at the time when he made that prediction, was going for $54 or so. Now it's a little bit more than $54, so he's still predicting doom. I'm sure when it's going to go up to like 100,000 or more, he's still going to keep predicting doom, because these guys, I think I would kind of get what's going on. So these economists like Paul Krugman and this Nouriel, whatever, they win Nobel Prizes or they win recognition, and then they end up getting a professorship and a tenured professorship. And what happens is everybody around them is basically telling him, wow, you're so smart, you predicted this, you know this, you have a Nobel, you're a professor. It was a tenureship in the US, for those who don't know. Basically, it means that you are hired as a professor. After a couple of years, you receive tenureship, and tenureship means that you cannot be fired from your positions, and that kind of, unless you do something extreme. And that basically allows professors leeway to make claims or research or do things that the university might not agree with, but in a spirit of research and advancing knowledge, they're giving freedom to do what they want. So that's the idea, is that give them freedom to pursue knowledge. But what happens is that these guys, once they get to that point where everybody's telling them they're all smart and know everything and everybody's admiring them, it starts to get to their heads. So they stop learning, they stop they basically, yeah, they stop learning, and they just start assuming that they already know everything, and that's it, and then they just get stuck. It's happened to Paul Krugman, who he got stuck at kind of the older, I guess, Keynesian central plan-based economics theories that our governments are still practicing and have been crashing around the world and falling apart here and there, and people are pointing out that, okay, this is not working, and yet he's now, no, this is right. So there's like entire blogs and podcasts devoted to debunking Paul Krugman. And Nouriel seems to be kind of in the same boat, where he got lucky by by being one of the many people who called the housing bubble crash, that people thought that he was a genius, for some reason him, as opposed to like everybody else was doing the same thing too. And now he thinks, now that he's got a professorship, I guess he thinks that he's smart, he understands everything. So he claims he understands everything about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, even though he's been writing articles and posting stuff that make like 50% of it makes sense. The other just like says, it shows that he has no idea what he's talking about. But you know, what are you gonna do? Fortunately, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are, well, Bitcoin especially, is a honey badger of money, as they say. It don't give a damn. It's going to keep going whether he says it's dead or not, so whatever. Anyway, yeah, and crypto is still stable. Boring. While I was at the conference, it actually kind of crashed a little bit, went from 6,500. Touched on 6,000 and bounced right off, and then was trying to stay down at 6,000 and just would not go past it because demand is there. Bounced back up to 6,200 and then stayed at 6,200 for a while, and then today just bounced right back to 6,500 again. Today the bounce may be because there may be a bit of a loss of faith in Tether, which is and it's another cryptocurrency that's backed by dollars. So the idea is that Tether will always be worth $1 because it's backed by exactly $1. but it's still a cryptocurrency that you can trade. So the downside is you still need a third party to actually have that dollar liquidity somewhere. But the benefit is that you can trade these dollars back and forth on a blockchain like you would any other cryptocurrency. So for example, if you are trading Bitcoins on two exchanges and you need to you trade out of Bitcoin into dollars and you need to move dollars to another exchange and then sell for Bitcoin again, it's faster actually to change to Tether and then move that Tether over. But what's going on right now is that, as I mentioned, there's a third party that needs to provide liquidity. So unfortunately, there's some questions about whether that third party actually has those dollars to back them. And this is why, perfect example of why backed currencies are a terrible idea, because you need to trust somebody. You need to trust somebody that they will actually have the dollars or the gold or whatever the heck else it might be back in that currency. And if there's any kind of rumors about the backers having an issue of liquidity, then your currency crashes. So you don't want that. You want a currency that's not backed. You want a currency that is just valuable by itself, so that it's not dependent on any third parties, it's not dependent on any banks, and it's not dependent on anybody possibly running away with whatever the heck is that's backing it. Just like right now there's questions about whether US government even has the gold that it claims it does. Like there's some even conspiracies that Fort Knox is actually empty and it's just being put up as a feeder to show that, like, yeah, we do have gold. I mean, I don't know if it's not true or not, but who knows? I mean, we don't know. But with Bitcoin, you don't need to know. If you have the Bitcoin, you have the Bitcoin. That's all you need to know. So anyway, long trip ahead. Tonight, unfortunately, is not going to be not going to get any sleep because I can't sleep on airplanes. But by this time tomorrow, I should be in Venice, so that should be pretty cool. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and wish me luck on that trip. Bye.